Hi everyone, welcome.
Hello.
I'm joined by Cam. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you? Ralph the candle maker.
Good. But yeah, movie candles. They're on Etsy now. Go get them. They're
Yeah.
amazing. They smell amazing. This is Childhood Slide. This is the Citizen Kane one.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah, movie's 100 years old. Spoiler alert. Tough shit. This one's great. Forest Moon. This one just sold out today. Forest Moon. They're selling out like crazy. So yeah, we're gonna restock soon. So probably around the time this podcast comes out. But yeah, get movie candles. They're great.
So yeah, we saw Captain America: Brave New World, the 35th film in the MCU. It
Yeah.
was the first to feature Anthony Mackie in the lead, Sam Wilson, right?
Yeah, movie to feature him in the lead. There's the show. Also,
Right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I've seen. You didn't. I
Yeah.
told you don't bother. There's just no. It's just not good. Like it might have given you some context. It definitely does add a bit of context, but still not worth watching.
Yeah, you were saying like watch it while you're doing the laundry or whatever. That's not
Yeah,
like
it's
a
one of
ringing
those building
endorsement.
furniture kind of things. While you're building furniture, you watch it. Uh, yeah, it's not great. I'm sure it's not as unwatchable as like I heard Secret Invasion is terrible, and that's one
Yeah,
I probably have to cover
right.
just for posterity, like Tenet, posterity.
Yeah,
Captain America. This is what Captain America movie is this? The fourth Captain America movie?
I guess so, right. The previous one would be Civil War, which feels like a while ago at this point.
Which that did have like General Ross in it, which I guess that makes sense how it's tying in to this one because
Yeah,
they talk about General Ross a lot, and a big thing about it is it's tied into the Hulk. We can just get into the plot of it, which
sure.
I don't like. I watched the movie and I don't remember much about, but basically like Harrison Ford now plays General Ross because the other
Yeah,
actor passed away,
William Hurt, right?
William
Yep.
Hurt, and he's become the president,
Hmm.
and he's there's some Trump allegories there, and a little
Yeah,
bit of
right.
a
The timing.
little he has like an anger issue, and right, so the
Yeah,
other world leaders don't like him, and then yeah, you have the Falcon kind of doing his thing,
but
but
now he's
then
Captain America. Yeah,
now he's Captain America, right? He
right.
became Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's the only
Yeah,
reason to watch that show. That's the only like development that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
worthwhile. Um, and yeah, they there's this guy who you don't know who it is who hates General Ross and is trying to ruin him and kill him, and it leads to like this kind of weird mind control plot. Some veteran who's also a super soldier like Captain America took the super soldier serum. His name I'm blanking on right now, the character's name. But basically he's like mind controlled into trying to assassinate General Ross, and he goes to jail. And so Sam Wilson wants to get him out of jail basically and reclaim his like innocence or whatever
Yeah, yeah.
by figuring out what the fuck really happened and who's behind the mind control. He has a Falcon with him who's some guy who I didn't really like that character.
A lot of wisecracks.
Yeah, he's just not really a great memorable character, right?
He's not a terrible character. He's just a very generic sidekick.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the movies about like not living up to
Expectations.
expectations,
How
right? He doesn't
fitting.
live up to the expectations of the Falcon. Anthony Mackie is great. I think he's a great leading man. He can't live up to like what Chris Evans did, and
Sure. And
it's like
yeah.
basically impossible, and that's like what the whole movie's about. I get it, but it's kind of a hard pill to swallow.
And I think he worked well, as the second fiddle in, Winter Soldier. Like he was a memorable part of that movie. I think that was
Yeah,
his introduction. Like I think he made a good impression right away.
right. He's great as that part, and that movie's great. There's like so much going on,
Yeah, that's one of the best MCU
and
movies. I think most
yeah.
people would agree.
And here it's tying up a lot of loose ends from the Hulk movie,
Right,
which is
which
a
came
long
out
time ago.
when you and I were both in fifth grade. So that was,
Yeah.
I saw the new movie with my two younger cousins, and the Incredible Hulk came out years before they were born. So, and I have a pretty good memory, but yeah, I think it's asking a lot for people, to like very vividly remember the events of that one with the villain. Do we want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, we can get into spoilers. I assume a lot of people have seen this,
Yeah,
especially by the time I put this out. I don't think it's gonna do great. I just don't think most people care,
you're right.
or or they've seen it. Who are like Marvel
Yeah,
fans. Marvel fans see
sure.
this shit like immediately.
There already was, yeah. I don't know if it was quite as big a drop as Quantumania, but it was similar. Yeah, because
Yeah, it's not as bad as that film, but this was pretty mediocre.
very mediocre. Yeah, and
Yeah,
right. So Tim Blake Nelson's back basically as he was a villain, supporting character in the Incredible Hulk. I remember like you saw him
yeah,
like transform at the end. It is so jarring. Yeah, just like you
yeah.
said,
And
like that
he's
was
he's trying to get revenge on General Ross
right.
because he was in the Hulk movie also, and
Yeah,
so it's a lot of that. And then his daughter, played by Liv Tyler.
she reappears.
Yeah, she makes a brief cameo. Since we were in spoilers, yeah, we can say that. So yeah, there's a lot of weird. The Eternals thing, that was very funny.
Galactus or whatever it's
No, that
called.
was the thing from Eternals. What's his
What is that
Arachem.
called? It kind of looks like a Galactus thing.
It kind of does, but whatever if it was Arakesh or whatever the fuck, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, Marrakesh
That big thing
Express.
from Eternals.
Yeah,
That was the thing they talked to. And
yeah,
that, like, I
right.
remember it landed, and everyone was making memes about it for years. Like, what happened to this fucking thing? No one ever mentioned what happened, and now they finally mentioned it in this random fucking Marvel movie. I
Rejoice.
saw it with my friend, and we were like laughing at each other. Like, I can't believe they because it's such a meme, That was such like a Reddit bullshit moment. Like, just like fuck you,
They
because like
barely,
people will complain
yeah.
about it. So like, just throw that in.
Sure. I mean, they've barely acknowledged Eternals. I mean, that came out a couple years ago. Like, it
That was
doesn't
like the
feel.
only acknowledgement of Eternals was that. And, like, adamantium came from the thing
X-Men?
from Eternals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
They said
Oh, right.
adamantium is like the thing they get from that thing from Eternals.
And they got it in Japan because they
Yeah,
show it's a guy
Japan
from.
has it for some reason.
It's like the prime, whatever you call it, like prime minister, world leader from Japan. He was in the Shogun, which is a good show. And yeah, there's like a little subplot with Giancarlo Esposito, which you could tell was added in reshoots because his character doesn't factor into the climax at all.
Yeah, it's kind of he. I liked him in the movie, but yeah,
He's a good
ultimately
actor.
not in it enough. Like he's
Right.
just not in it enough to warrant like even. It's not that important really either of the character.
No, it's just like he's just involved with like I guess
Yeah.
like the theft of the
It's just like
material
another
or whatever.
fucking thing, another hurdle to go through, to get to the main bad guy, which is Tim Blake Nelson and his plot. Like they're like, who's the buyer? Who's the buyer? There's all these scenes. Who's the buyer? And like,
Yeah.
I guess he's the buyer. I don't know. It's just like a dumb story. I think the weakest part of the movie for me is like they build a lot of mystery around the Harrison Ford reveal that he becomes the Red Hulk. But
Right,
it's gonna happen the whole time from all of the marketing associated with the movie. Yeah, they kind of just spoiled it. So you're just like waiting for him to become the Red Hulk the whole time.
I definitely was too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very because they show him with the pills and it's like you're like, okay, the guy poisoned the pills, so like when he gets angry, he's gonna become the Red Hulk. Like it's very obvious like where it's going. It like kind of telegraphs itself. It's not interesting when you're watching a movie. There should be tension and like unpredictability. You shouldn't be waiting for like the guy to become the Red Hulk. You wait
exactly.
in a doctor's office. Waiting is not entertaining.
No,
Right.
unless it's like
Yeah.
particularly tense waiting or
No.
whatever. And, I think that's also right. Like that's like you said, like the Red Hulk. It reminded me. There's a Simpsons episode where like people are gathering, they're watching Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. Like they're supposed to go to the fireworks factory, but it takes forever. And Milhouse is like, "Why aren't they going to the fireworks factory?"
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And also, like I think in general, like the action and like is not very well staged. Like you
No.
mentioned, the scene where Sam's friend starts, he's hypnotized and he shoots at Harrison Ford. Like it kind
That,
of just happens like out
yeah,
of nowhere.
that's a
Like if you think
confusing one. Yeah, the way that's
right,
edited is really weird.
yeah,
I
it
guess it's
just
supposed to be jarring, like come out of nowhere, but yeah, it's just bizarre.
I think it'd be more effective if there's like build up to it. If you think like there's that scene in The Dark Knight where like the mayor's speaking in the middle of the city, like there's a lot of build up, like it
Yeah,
gets
like that.
tense, like
Right, right. The guys
bullets,
shooting
guns
and
firing, yeah, exactly, like
yeah. Well, like there's old like I think it was Hitchcock talked about it. Like
mhm.
it's do you show like if there's a bomb under the table, do you
Yeah,
show the
right,
audience it or do you not show the audience? And he's like, show the audience it because then you can build tension around it and you can make this moment last 5 minutes
hmm,
and like make it last instead of like, oh, it's just the bomb blows up and like that's it. Like it's like a
yeah,
moment
right,
of shock, but instead of a moment of shock, you could have this like big like 5 minute scene of tension and revealing and whatever.
A bomb goes off, blows the people to smithereens. What do the audience have? 10 seconds of shock. Now take the same scene and tell the audience there is a bomb under that table and will go off in 5 minutes. Well, the whole emotion of the audience is totally different because you've given them that information that in 5 minutes' time that bomb will go off.
But yeah, like you're saying, it's just like it's not
kind of going through the
interesting. You're
motions
just
a
waiting
little,
for shit
yeah,
to happen, and yeah, the staging's bad. The VFX are corny, and like the green screen and stuff like that is really bad in the movie. Definitely not up to par for like what I expect from this kind of thing.
yeah,
It's not. It just doesn't look very good. And I saw it in RPX. I saw it on the big screen. You know, the green screen it looks like cheap and whatever. Kind of looks like a TV show. The whole movie.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and right. It's just there's so much money being put into this stuff, and then you just watch and you like the staging of like the dialogue scenes is very like standard. It's not
Yeah,
special and. It's like what people always complain about with Marvel movies and stuff. It just kind of it feels all the same, and like all those
yeah,
complaints like is with this movie. It's like
boilerplate. Yeah, a lot of like exposition dumps. I was kind of like spacing out after a point, like certain scene with like the Captain America and the Falcon. They were talking about oh, they got to break their friend, how to exonerate their friend or whatever. It's kind of even like just hard to follow, or like at least not like interesting enough to follow. And
sure.
you would address like it helps to have seen the show before the movie, and
I mean a little bit, yeah, but at the same time, I don't recommend the show because it's not very good.
yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's a common complaint now with like Marvel. Like it's a lot of like required reading before,
Right,
and
too much required reading, and it's not good reading. Like it's not,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not good, not great. Like I can't highly recommend it. WandaVision was solid. Loki, I
mhm.
think, is really good.
Yeah, I like
That's one I
Loki.
liked. Like I made a video about it and whatever. But yeah, like a lot of the other stuff it's very very inconsistent and it deflates the movies. It devalues the movies, and yeah, you just can't keep track of it all. It's because it's too
Right.
much to follow.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's not even like necessarily like the other things you need to watch are bad. It's just like it gets a little like exhausting. And my friend Vaughn counted because he's a comic fan, like that could be kind of the draw sometimes if you just like jumping between installments, like kind of like jumping in the middle of the action. But I think there's a line like if it's like too if you don't know like anything that's going on or like too little, you kind of just get like disengaged.
sure. And it's just not very like compelling the things that are
Yeah,
happening, the storylines or whatever that they're tying off.
yeah,
Um,
right. Yeah, I don't think too many people were clamoring for payoffs to Incredible Hulk because it's like, yeah, the second movie in the MCU, Edward Norton doesn't play the role anymore. It seems like so disconnected at this point.
mhm. Yeah. The movie has its moments that are not bad because it's, you know, I was thinking like, what makes this better than Craven the Hunter? I was thinking about that, And then there's like the scene with like Bucky and Anthony Mackie, Bucky and Captain
Sam.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. I guess that
and like
helps
that's
it,
like
yeah.
a solid scene.
Even
Even
though
though it's centered around like that Falcon, the new Falcon, who I hate, like he's got
Yeah.
injured or whatever. But it's like nice to see them together, and
Right,
moments like that tying in the stuff from the other movies is cool. Like the universe they built up.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think that was a bad scene either. Though I noticed they like borrowed a joke from Ocean's 11. It was like Bucky says some like big speech, and Sam's like, "Oh, you were practicing that?" Like, "Oh yeah, I did." Like, "What'd you think of it?" It was like the same joke. I thought, but yeah, I agree. I think I guess a benefit it has over Craven is it has some characters that we already know. Yeah, because Craven, yeah, I mean, who were the characters
Right.
you were for? Rhino, whatever the fuck his
Craven,
name is.
the writing is just so simplistic that it was like even more basic than this movie. And this
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
just because, right, it has these connection to other things, and maybe some things some things you like.
Maybe.
Some like maybe like I'm trying to think of one. Like yeah, I don't hate Anthony Mackie, and I think
No, me neither.
he really got like the short end of the stick as far as I don't know. Like I don't think this is gonna go anywhere with like him leading like the Avengers. Well, I'm sure he will lead the Avengers, but it's just I don't know. I'm not as confident in it as I was when I was watching like Chris Evans and all that stuff.
Well, yeah,
And the build up to
yeah.
Avengers and that was pretty awesome.
I guess a part of that too is like it's not really even like clear like what we're building up to because like things are so splintered. Like
They've
I know
made
like
so many things that haven't been paid off yet either.
Yeah, with the
and they probably
post-credit
won't pay
scenes.
off. Like the post credits for Eternals with the troll and Harry
Harry
Styles,
Styles.
or you even mentioned the one to me, the Charlize Theron one from Doctor Strange, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that they probably won't ever mention that again. Like, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
they will, but yeah, I'm not as big on that movie now. I think I liked it
Yeah.
more when I first saw it. I
Yeah,
don't
same
hate
here.
it, but yeah, I think it's probably better than this. Just a little more high production value. There were some like
Yes,
visual effects
I would
sequences in
agree.
that
Yeah.
I were like, oh, that's like really cool, and it looked
More
great.
memorable.
Like it looked really
Yeah.
awesome because Sam Raimi is involved, and I'm sure it had a big budget. Whereas this had a big budget too, but it's just man, it just looked like shit. The whole climax looked like absolute shit. With the
Yeah.
green screen mostly.
Yeah, it's funny too. Like something like like Ant-Man the Wasp, like the second one that kind of like gets like mentioned as like a mediocre entry. I actually like that one, and like
The
it has,
second one,
yeah,
I liked it a bit better the third time I watched it, especially compared to fucking the third one.
Yeah, and that
It
has better.
issues. I
Sure,
noticed the
but-
ghost or whatever is going to be in Thunderbolts because they showed the Thunderbolts trailer before. Like that was the first time I saw it. It was before this movie.
Yeah, at the very
Um,
least, it had better
yeah,
action than
It's the
anything in
bad
this
guy from
movie.
that. Yeah, it had some cool action set pieces like at the end. That car chase was fun. But that's what I mean. Again, that movie kind of the Ant-Man movies kind of have that problem with like the staging is very generic in a lot of scenes.
Particularly the third one, because like we said,
Yeah,
like, there was
and the
no
third
sense
one
of like
is really
you know,
noticeable.
no sense of scale. Like, if you're in, like, some
Right. It's just a
fucking
bunch of mush in the
screen.
background.
Yeah,
Yeah, even the first two, it's very like it's not bad. It's very just standard. They're not doing anything fun with it. It's a movie that's
a
shot.
little fun. Yeah, I don't think they're
They have more fun, I
masterpieces.
think, with the
Yeah.
action.
I know it's like a common sentiment, like, oh, the MCU, they should have stopped, after Endgame. That was obviously never
That's
going
not
to
gonna
happen.
happen because there's
No.
so much money on the table. They're at
Yeah.
like it's like a catch-22. You're fucked if you do, and you're fucked if you don't. Because
Yeah.
there's such a audience for this shit that want to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it, and that they do watch everything that comes out from this. That's
Not
like all they
everybody,
watch.
but a
some
lot of
people.
people. Yeah,
A lot of
some
people. There's plenty
yeah.
of enough to justify making it for sure. Because like comic book people are so adamant about this, but like at the same time, it's like devaluing it. The more shit they churn out, the less people are gonna come and and pay money to come out to go see these movies. If like the more you like, because they used to not miss at all, and that's why they did really well.
Or rarely.
Yeah, rarely. And now
there
they
were
come
definitely a
out
few
like
duds,
so, but
yeah.
they've been quite a few duds. Like a lot of the duds you could talk about have been quite recent.
Yeah.
Like you had like Thor 2 and whatever, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
people act like that's like, a blight on humanity. That I don't even think that's like the worst
it's
of
pretty
it.
bad. It's pretty bad.
It's just it's better than this, I think.
Um,
Honestly.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have you seen it recently? We're gonna
No,
have to
but
watch Thor 2 again. I mean, Thor 3 is amazing. Like
even
Thor
the
4
fourth.
wasn't great.
No, I didn't really like that one.
Yeah, that's another one I soured on. And then yeah, like a lot of them, like Ant-Man 3 and
That was bad. That's one of the worst movies.
yeah,
That
I
and
soured a bit on
Eternals.
Black Panther 2 also, and
It was okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of missing like Black Panther, like the lead.
Right. Obviously, factors.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, sure,
factors
but
out
it's
of their
like you're
control.
watching the
Yeah.
whole movie without him. It's like okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I like the third Deadpool. I cooled a bit. I didn't really dig that one.
no,
much
that one I'm
either.
not big on either. It's my least favorite Deadpool of the
Yeah.
three because I rewatched them, and yeah, like the first two are really funny. The third one,
It gets bogged down in like
the Logan shit.
multiverse. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it looked kind of washed
I don't
out.
like how it tied that movie up at all. They didn't even have to mention Logan. I don't know why they did.
Right.
They could have just had him be
Logan's
Wolverine
great.
again. Yeah, they didn't have to. They didn't have to touch Logan. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, whatever. He's like, hey, let's make fun of Logan.
Come on, you didn't like Free Guy?
They feel very much like TV shows now, where you go and you
Yeah.
just watch the next installment, and they're very like standardly shot. That's why I think like the new Fantastic Four looks kind of cool because it looks like a
Yeah.
real movie. Like the lighting looks great and.
Yeah,
You
and it's Matt Shackman, who's done a lot of good like TV work on Mad Men and like It's Always Sunny and Game
Yeah.
of Thrones. Yeah,
And even
WandaVision, I think,
Thunderbolts
worked
doesn't
on.
look
Yeah.
bad either.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think it's just this is like such a dud. I think
I agree.
like very mediocre. I didn't like the way it looked at all. It's just very like in a lot of ways, just like completely mediocre. Like you can't even say much about it. The music, like I don't know, like I didn't even notice the score or anything notable about it.
Yeah, there was like a thing. I guess it's kind of like, because Winter Soldier was kind of like trying to be like an espionage thriller, like in the vein of like Parallax View, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
even like the Bourne movies, something
yeah,
like that.
sure. Yeah, but something like the Parallax View, like that's like, it's very atmospheric. There's a lot of thought, it keeps you on edge, like you don't know what's going on. But like this one, there's like, maybe it's not a fair comparison, but there's like, like you said, there's not a lot of mystery. It's like Tim Blake Nelson's character because
Yeah,
you
he's
already
gonna
heard.
become the Red Hulk the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I said, you were waiting, which is not interesting. Waiting is not interesting. You wait to get your car fixed. You
Yeah.
wait, like it's not.
Yeah, no,
it's
right.
not a movie experience you want to, to indulge in.
No, and
And
my
I guess
yeah.
it's unfair. I was thinking because like a lot of these movies you can predict like the guy's gonna become the villain and whatever, but there's so much mystery built up around the Harrison Ford thing, and like they telegraph it so much, and yeah, it's just not. I don't know. Didn't work for me.
It's some of the more even like some of the more more recent ones like Black Widow. I didn't think it was amazing, but that was better than this. Like I think if there needs to be like enough like positive attributes to like get people to watch because Marvel like people now I feel like I'll just wait till it's on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't feel
probably,
like enough
this probably
urgency.
will be in
Yeah.
like 2 weeks. It's like what they do now. 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit longer.
3 days.
That's why like it feels like they don't care, and they just like shit this shit out because it's
Spread
like just
too
another
thin.
episode of a long TV series instead of being like a fucking cinematic experience, which is like that's what movies are,
Yeah.
And I could get like why people like this movie has kind of like sour reviews, and like yeah, I get why. It's not true cinema.
Yeah, the characters aren't very well fleshed out. I mean, like the friend who gets
they're
arrested,
not.
he's okay, but
We even talk about like the agent woman who
Yeah,
works
Ruth
for
Bader
Harrison Ford.
Ginsburg or whatever. What was her name? It was Ruth something.
Super, like you look like a little kid. You look like
Yeah,
a
she's
like a
teeny.
14-year-old girl in like a woman's body.
I guess there was some
Like a woman's
controversy.
face, you know.
Well, I don't know the full story. I guess like people were annoyed because she's like from Israel, the
Yeah,
superhero.
she's like
I don't know the
pro-Israel.
full,
I don't know,
yeah,
pro-Israel or something.
something like that. It reminds me. I wanted to mention years ago, my family went on a trip to Ireland. This was 2006, so before the
Yeah.
MCU, or maybe Iron Man was like in pre-production or whatever. But my grandmother was was an avid reader, and she, smart lady. She gave me a couple comics while we were away, and it was a Captain America one. It was an issue. People probably could figure out which one it was, but like it's one where it's like, what if Captain America ran for president? And it was so boring. It's just funny because like in that particular installment, like he
it's
didn't,
like this movie.
right? Like it was just about his campaign. Like he didn't.
Yeah,
fight
it's
any
just him
bad
fucking
guys.
campaigning for office. But yeah, it's like this movie. There's a lot of that shit.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
it reminded
boring.
me of.
Right.
I wasn't mad at my grandmother. Obviously, it was nice for her to get it for me. I was just like, yeah, this story I read on a bus. I'm like, this is fucking lame.
Threw it out the window.
I don't have it anymore. Yeah, I might be gone.
Yeah, Harrison Ford in this. I don't know if it was just the way he was playing the character, because General Ross is supposed to be a bad guy, but he seemed just kind of grumpy the whole time.
Yeah, very gruff.
Yeah, and I think you sent me an article about how he was kind of a grump on set. So I don't know how much of that, again, was the acting or just him being like kind of like a I don't want to mention the Bruce Willis thing, but like yeah, kind of like that kind of, or maybe like Steven Seagal.
I mean, he's like 100 times the actor Steven Seagal.
Of course he is.
Yeah, but yeah,
But I
get
got
what
like
you're saying.
a vibe of that in this, but it might just be that he's playing the character as just like a grouchy guy. But he could also just be playing the whole movie like it's a joke. Like, oh, this is fucking stupid, or what am I? A Red Hulk? Fine. How much money? Just give me the fucking check. That's what Harrison Ford. Red Hulk? Fuck, I don't care. Just give me the check.
As long as I'm not a Force ghost.
as long as it's not Star Wars, fine. What am I, the Red Hulk? Fine, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, he's done good stuff recently, like the Blade Runner and the show Shrinking,
like Lou Ferrigno. Like that's like the only reference for Hulk he probably has. Is like the show from the however many, was that the 70s or
I think so, maybe like late 70s. Yeah, that was well before our time.
It's like the Lou Ferrigno show. Yes, Mr. Ford. It's like the Lou Ferrigno show. All right, I'll do it. And they give him like free tickets to Disney and like for his family, so shit like Disney probably does that.
Right, and it also could have been I don't think he has like a ton of experience with like doing the whatever motion capture. That might have been a factor too.
What, did he do the motion capture?
He may have. I don't know like if it was all of it, but it seemed that way.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm sure the animators did a lot of work around him. It's not like a Steven Seagal level performance, but it gave me vibes of that Steven Seagal kind of not caring a little bit from him, and just like it's just not like a great. I just don't think he took the material very serious. It's kind of shitty material, frankly.
It's it's very clunky. Even it's like one of his first scenes is like. I think it's like the first scene in the movie. It's like, I'm waiting to hear back from Betty, like my daughter. Like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Well, it's for people in the audience who don't know, that's his daughter.
I kept wanting to say Betsy, like Betsy Ross. I think that's deliberate. And like Tim Blake Nelson's character, like his design was very off. Like it reminded me like Peter Sarsgaard and like Green Lantern. He's just like very like grotesque, like his head's
man head or whatever.
Yeah, like his head's.
Oh
all
yeah,
swollen.
he looked terrible in this. The green head, like he had green skin or whatever. But there's this scene, like it's toward the end. He just meets with Captain America in a park.
Yeah, there was some bad ADR there. I
Yeah,
noticed
and
too.
like really bad green screen there because he's like standing there and there's like some green screen behind him. It's just like, why does this look so fucking bad? Like, what's
Yeah,
going on?
cheap.
Like, it looks so cheap. You can like tell. Yeah, I don't know what's the issue.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause that
like
stuff
you
usually
said,
doesn't look that bad.
right, like the new Fantastic Four, at least from the trailer, looks like a little more like aesthetically pleasing, and so does the new Superman.
Yeah, it seems like they just kind of put all their eggs in those baskets and not this one. They just like abandoned this one, which is like I get that vibe from them sometimes. They like give up on certain ones and they like don't put the money they really need to. That's how I felt about like Black Panther. They like didn't put the money into it to like finish up those effects. The first
One, yeah,
because
that-
the
and
effects were fucking terrible in that movie, and I don't
Yeah.
think they realized like how much of a hit it would be.
oh
'Cause
yeah, it was a phenomenon.
if it was
yeah.
like Iron Man or whatever, like they would have polished them up a little.
Yeah, I think that was the weakest part of that movie because I like
Oh, for sure.
I like it more than you do, but yeah, I agree. The effects
Yeah,
were
but
not
like the
very good.
visual effects are definitely weak. Like they're probably better in the second one because all
Yeah.
the underwater stuff was impressive. But yeah, it's
Could have worked on that one, but
yeah,
Next
but you're
time.
right. It's not. I don't know. For it's just really mediocre.
I may have chuckled at one or two jokes, but yeah, overall, to say not the best writing. And my little cousins were more positive on, it, which is fine. I didn't want to be like a fucking Debbie Downer, like
Yeah.
that sucked. But
I feel like they would like Alien Romulus better.
might be too
At
scary.
least that
for
movie's
'em.
like really violent. Well, yeah, that's awesome though.
But yeah,
the woman give birth to a fucking weird alien thing. And
yeah, that is
murder
better.
everyone.
But the older one did concede that this is not the best Marvel movie. I'm like, yes, I agree with you on that.
Well, yeah, I would put it toward the bottom, probably, like you said.
Yeah, I would too.
Better
Like,
than Thor: The Dark World. I don't know. I might have to think about it.
honestly, I think that one might be better. I remember more. From, even I like the power.
Definitely better shot.
Yeah, I like the power that Thor put his hammer on them.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember the director of that. I think was Alan Taylor. He did a lot
Yeah, it
of Game of
was.
Thrones stuff, so
And
it
Sopranos,
looked
yeah.
nice. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like a shitty kind of story.
We know it's unreasonable. 35 movies. They're not all gonna be fucking gems, But definitely, like you said, a lot of like the more like the lesser
They
ones.
could at
have
least
been more
try
recently.
though.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just saying, like we don't have unreasonable expectations. It's just the last few have been underwhelming overall.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. I don't even have to justify it much. People are just like completely zoned out of this stuff now because they don't care like they did. The quality's not there. They're shitting out a lot of stuff.
Well, at least with because they're coming out next, like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I think they might, benefit from being like more disconnected. Because a lot of like characters we haven't seen before, or, like not as much like Florence Pugh's character, like as opposed to this one, where it's like tying off ends from the Incredible Hulk and Eternals. Yeah, just kind of. Yeah, right. It gets very busy, like not in a good way. We
Yeah.
want to focus on like new stories.
It was underwhelming.
Don't say for the post credit scene. I mean, a lot of people have already seen it, like
Horrible
you said, but-
post credit scene. So
was bad.
pointless.
Yeah.
They're coming. Like like the others are coming. Like what are you supposed to get from that? And they make you wait like the whole credits for that shit, and it's just nothing. A big nothing. That was that was so dumb. That was really dumb. There's usually a mid credit one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They got fucking nothing because they don't want to like embarrass themselves again by like putting a post credit for something that's not gonna happen, like they did with Eternals,
Or
and,
even
like Doctor Strange and Blade.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Right. I was thinking of that,
the Blade one.
Oh, for Eternals. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That one too.
When the fuck is that movie gonna come out?
I don't think you're never gonna see. He's in the new Jurassic Park, isn't he?
Mahershala Ali. I'm not sure. He might be.
I think he is. With ScarJo. They're already rebooting that. I heard she doesn't like being called ScarJo. I'm gonna call her ScarJo anyway.
I'll call it Scar.
If I meet her, hey ScarJo. Rebirth? What the fuck?
At the very least, it can't be worse than the last
It's
one.
Gareth Edwards. Oh wow.
Right, so it's probably better than the last one. Fewer people flying on a fucking helicopter. Not as many locusts.
Yeah, it is Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
So we'll see.
I mean,
But,
that last Jurassic Park was
Oh,
abysmal.
horrible.
Really, it was just horrible.
It's worse than this movie.
Yeah, that was really just horrible. That's like a 1 star. I couldn't. That made like $1 billion. That movie.
Yeah, that was crap.
That was a piece of shit. That one. That was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable piece of shit. Jurassic World Dominion. The one before it was at least ironically funny. Yeah, I'd rather talk about Jurassic World than Captain America, the Brave New Order, Brave New World.
Wasn't there like the Disney sequel, the Pocahontas 2? Wasn't that it's like World Journey to the New World? That's what I thought of. Brave New World.
I think Alex Jones or whatever is the New World Order. That's like the Illuminati.
Oh,
I think that's like what he would. That's what he would say. Yeah, I'm sure he loves this movie.
Maybe Jordan Peterson liked it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Wow. I saw a movie today, Captain America: The New World Order. And then it's just the Free Guy review, copy and pasted. Yeah, Anima, Self, in that order.
A little pretentious, maybe.
It's just a bunch of shit coming out of someone's mouth.
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest?
I don't want a variable out there that I can't control.
I would rate it like a 4 out of 10, something like that. I think
I'd probably give it a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
It's pretty.
Yeah, definitely at
pretty,
the bottom.
Yeah,
of the ranking or
I might
towards
even
the
go
bottom.
3 on it. Yeah. It's just right. It feels like a fucking TV show. Can I talk about the movie candles a little more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was asking again for the recording. I got 2 more. I got the E.T. No, this is the E.T. one. E.T.
Yeah, hold it a little closer. There. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can.
Just so you can see.
You can kind of see the stars on this. It's got stars on it, so it's a cool label. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds you of E.T., the forest or whatever. It kind of smells like lavender. And then this is Road to Emerald City. This one's pretty cool. You can see the ruby slippers on it.
Yeah.
It smells like flowers, this one. It's super strong. Oh, yeah, it smells nice. They smell great. Yeah, check out movie candles. They smell great. Inspired by all your classic movies like Jaws and, Return of the Jedi, Star Wars.
Eternals. Not Eternals.
Citizen Kane. Well, the Eternals one's coming soon. Yeah. The Citizen Kane one, I think, smells the best. There's also 2 more, Haunted Hotel and Arctic Isolation, which, that's The Shining and The Thing, which are sold out. But those are going to be restocked soon. So, yeah,
you could be like Gwyneth Paltrow, you make like vagina scented
right,
candles.
making sense. Yeah, that smell like a pussy. No, I'm alright. Yeah,
like Boogie Nights themed.
Yeah, Boogie Nights themed one. But yeah, people have suggestions. There's a few cool ones. Like one is people said like a Dune inspired one, like the spice, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure.
The spice from Dune, which I'm like, yeah, I wonder what that would smell like. But you can get like a spicy kind of scent for that. And yeah, people have some cool ideas for sure. Steven Seagal, yeah, it smells like sweat.
China salesman.
Yeah, the China salesman candle, hair dye. It smells like hair dye. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all, everybody. Thanks for the support. Check out movie candles. Go get them. It's $30 plus shipping, but that's not that bad. For someone, get it as a gift for someone. I feel like people love, like, if you're a film buff or a film fanatic, like the fanatic. If you're a film, let's just say film buff. If you're a film buff, you would probably want at least one. You want to talk about Senna, which is a film.
Why don't you can introduce it? Yeah.
Senna. It's a documentary about racing, Formula One racing.
True story about the Formula One driver Ayrton Senna.
Yeah, that's his
Brazil.
name. Yeah, very good.
And now for also there's a show on Netflix. Like, this is a documentary, but
like a narrative show. Yes. Yeah, the documentary was a while ago. It was 2010.
Right.
But they definitely like saw this movie and made the I'm sure the show is basically this movie, a lot of the drama.
Yeah.
Because they have really good footage of everything that happened and like the drama and how it played out. That's like what's so interesting about the movie. Is that a lot of it is like basically all of it's archival footage, and there's very little. Well, there's like interviews and stuff, but it's all just their voice.
Right, it's not like not like traditional narration.
Yeah, you just hear their voice in their interviews, and yeah, they basically like show footage of them from the time usually. Like they show his doctor and they interview him and stuff because he's still alive, or at least he was when they made the documentary.
Yeah, and his
but yeah.
they interviewed his rival Alain.
Yeah, exactly. And right, it's all just archival footage. It's like watching a narrative movie.
Yeah, there's like, a lot of footage from the race, including like, like cameras mounted within the cars, so you can see like, as he's
you see all the racing and
like some home movies, stuff like that, like in interviews with the driver, like from the whatever. At the time.
Their rivalry of the two guys, like you said, Ayrton Senna, and then Alan Prost is the other guy, his like rival. Like, but their like rivalry is pretty public. It's well documented, so they got footage of a lot of stuff of that, to where you can like see it, and it's great. It's very likes for like good drama. As far as a film wise,
Yeah, it works well. Not to describe like every little thing, but there's like a crucial part, like where they collided with each other and the fallout from that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you see like how much it builds up because documentaries are seen as very like, I guess, not boring, but this movie has a lot of there's a lot of drama to this, and it's very engaging.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining. Yeah, his story. Even regardless of the racing, he was like a huge like
icon.
Celebrity. Yeah, because he's from Brazil, so yeah, he was a huge like beacon of hope there.
Everyone he was very proud of his Brazilian heritage, and he was a beloved figure there.
Definitely, they show like thousands of people, like like not everyone gets that.
Right.
Yeah, and they do build up kind of like an Amadeus kind of thing, that was interesting in Oppenheimer too. Like this,
right? Yeah,
this sort of like maybe jealousy between the two guys, because like Alan Prost, he's definitely a good racer, but he's also like a bit of a stick in the mud, and they paint him as that.
He got cut
and he's
up
very
in,
like he goes by the rules and he plays the politics well, whereas Senna was he was almost like a ladies' man. Like women definitely liked him. They show like a whatever him on TV. Like the woman's like kissing him like all the way. So like
TV
women
host.
liked him, and he was just like he had like an awesome life. He was just humble and cool, and everyone liked him, and he was the best racer. And there's like they build that like jealousy there, and it's interesting to watch that. And how again, not to go through everything, but he tries to like they got an accident, he tries to get him suspended for a year and all this shit that happens between them, just to keep like Senna from getting like the Grand Prix or whatever, that award and that race. It's like watching like a great like I don't even think this series would do it justice, honestly. Like, I don't think they probably did it as well as this documentary did.
No, I think I think sometimes that can work well. Like there was, the documentary about Harvey Milk, and then there was the movie with Sean Penn. I think those two complement each other well. I think there are other examples like that, even with like the OJ documentary that came out at the same time as the show with Cuba Gooding Jr.
This documentary is definitely what put this story like in the public eye, because I never heard about it.
Sure.
And I'm sure a lot of people who watch the show probably have seen this documentary first. Which I think it's a testament to it, like how entertaining it is, and how well made it is.
It shows you why how that world is so appealing. I'm not an expert on Formula One. It's not like I hate it. I just don't watch it as much as some other people.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily either, but it's definitely more of an interesting sport than like NASCAR and shit.
Right.
Like, yeah, where you're just driving in a circle, and that's like, yeah, that shit's boring as fuck. Like a lot of like Formula One's a bit more interesting.
They talk about they use a lot of the lingo like chicane and like pole position.
Yeah,
And like how
well, like Ford v Ferrari's about that, and the movie, like that's Formula One, which is exactly, that's a good movie. So there's just more of a better image with Formula One, and they're making a Formula One movie with Brad Pitt.
Right.
But, like Formula One actually requires like some skill, from like the racer and also like the people making the car. The car isn't like it can't just go left. It has to make like these really tight turns and like you can see, because I like play racing games and stuff. That's not even close to like as I'm not saying that, but even in that, it's fucking hard. Like when you're going like 200 miles an hour and you have to make like these incredibly tight turns. And you can see him fucking driving. He's going fast. He's like, you could tell he's got his foot on the pedal and he's not stopping at all. And he's just really good at cornering and like that. And he's like going around people like fucking crazy. And he's just like going like, like zoom, like a bullet.
You think about how hard that would be, even going like 80 miles an hour.
Like 200. Like when I'm on the highway and I'm going like 80, I'm like petrified. Like I can't imagine, and I'm just going straight or whatever.
Like
he's highway, going like these turns, but it's just like it's all they know the tracks, right? Because it's just a set series of tracks, and they just know how to corner, and it's it's amazing to watch. And like that they show like his humble beginnings too, and go-karting and whatever. I guess it's
how he that started. Was like that's a big emphasis. Is like he just wants he didn't get caught up in the politics as much. He just focused on the driving and
the humbleness.
And, he was very religious. Yeah, that's a big like component. Like he prayed a lot. Like, talked about God.
He said like God gave him the victory as like a gift. He thanked God for it. Like it wasn't. Basically, it was his talent, but it was also a gift from God. Like it's like impossible to achieve that,
God's not dead. Like
God's not dead, man. It ends tragically. The movie got a sad ending, which the true story is like he died. And also another person died, another driver.
The same weekend or whatever. Yeah, they go into more detail, but I guess there was like newer cars and they took too many parts out, I guess, and they weren't safe.
They were like redesigning them a lot, I think. Well, first they designed them so that they would basically drive themselves, and it made it too easy. So then they took all that shit out. And I guess that like changed the car significantly. But basically, when he was driving it would keep, going off the road.
Or whatever,
he would keep spinning out. And the way he drove, like I was saying, he would drive so fucking fast. Yeah. Like he was just like he wouldn't stop, And like when they show the accident, you can see he's like,
woo. Yeah.
Well, he just basically drives into a wall, so something must have snapped on the car or whatever. But like
out of nowhere, right?
That's what did him in, and like,
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's like, you can see like all the things that led to it, and it's mostly like the car being a piece of shit, and you can see like they lead up to it a lot. Like the last half hour is actually really good because it like completely changes gears from being like an awesome. Like, look how cool. Yeah, that's true. But it's the whole first hour is like, look how kind of cool this guy is or whatever, and then like. They do start building this tension leading to like his eventual like death, and like that you see him look worried, and you see like he just like accidents just keep happening. He sees the guy die and he's like, fuck, man, that could be me. And there's accidents throughout the movie even before that.
Right.
But that happens, that particular incident, like that, there hasn't been an accident since. That's what they said, and that's
there've been a few deaths since, not that many, thankfully. Yeah, but like
have there been when the movie came out? When the movie said at the end there haven't been like deaths
that was 15 years ago. Yeah, there've been a couple since.
There've been a couple since, sure.
Yeah,
but that they definitely cracked down, I think, for a while.
Yeah, right. Because I
Um,
was, I was right because he was such
Also,
a
he was so famous. That
exactly
guy.
right. Yeah,
He was the
that
most
got a lot of
famous
attention to
Formula
it.
One
Yeah.
racer probably in the world. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he died like that. Like, he was young too. He was 34.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. This is a crazy story that like I didn't know about at all before seeing the movie. It's like incredibly dramatic.
Yeah.
Which is, that's great for a subject of a documentary. That's like that's pretty much like what you're looking for, right? It's like show me a subject I didn't know, and like introduce me to it and make it interesting, and make it dramatic, make it, like
Yeah.
get my emotion. Like the guy, like one of the most like I think kind of bittersweet moments for me was at the end, Alan Prost like being at his funeral,
Right.
and
Yeah.
carrying his casket, like after all that shit they went through together, like him being there at it, like that was like pretty powerful stuff. They have so much footage of this stuff that they just all they had to do was show the archival footage of it, and they made like a whole movie out of it,
Yeah.
because they
It's
could have shown like the interviews now and those like like a more traditional,
like talking heads.
yeah, like a talking, you're right, which a lot of documentaries do, and that's not bad. But I think that makes this movie so unique. I just haven't quite seen it done in this way, and it works so well for this subject matter. And yeah, it's just for this movie. I think it's a great doc. I really like this one. I would definitely recommend this doc to a lot of people. I think like it's a pretty accessible one. People raved about it when it came out.
Yeah, his action and it was directed by Asif Kapadia, who also did the Amy Winehouse documentary, which I still haven't seen.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
And that was also a very similar kind of style. But yeah, that movie was all like the Amy Winehouse documentary. That was really good too. Because I didn't know much about her story, and yeah, that was pretty detailed with that. But this one was I like this one better because it's it's just like really crazy story, and yeah, the action of the racing I think makes it fun. It's just a good one.
Yeah, I mean, sports drama in general can be pretty enticing, especially like that. He was such a like larger than life figure, and yeah, he had this rivalry, but also like begrudging respect with the other guy, like you said,
and the tragic ending. Yeah, it's really it's great stuff. Like as far as a film, yeah, terrific. I'd give it like just again the ratings like a 8 or 9 out of 10, like a high 8, like around there.
Yeah, I give it like an 8.
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing. It's probably the best racing documentary maybe ever made. There might be some other ones that I haven't seen, but it's definitely up there. And I'm not like a huge racing guy or whatever, but
there's some good racing movies.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Ford v Ferrari. I like Rush.
Yeah, that one's great. Rush is great. I rewatched Rush recently, and yeah, that one's really awesome. And that was another one, Niki Lauda and
right, who's depicted
James
in
Hunt.
Senna.
In the documentary they mention him.
You see Niki Lauda.
You see Niki Lauda. You see his face is all fucked up and burned.
Yeah,
That's because like what happened like in Rush. Yeah, he got an accident.
Yeah.
He didn't die, thankfully, but yeah, he got his face
since
all
passed
burned.
away, but yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't die in Formula
Right.
1, did he?
No.
Fairly recent. And then also James Hunt, they in the Senna documentary, I don't think you see him, but you hear his voice.
Yeah.
He's like I think because at that point he's an announcer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Rush it's like, right, he wins at the end of the movie, but then I think he retires and
died young.
Yeah. And then Niki Lauda wins because he keeps racing, basically, Niki Lauda after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I've just been in a racing mood, I guess. So and all.
You gotta
this
watch
stuff.
Talladega Nights. Funny one.
Yeah. Well, there's the Tom Cruise one, right?
Days of Thunder. Yeah, it's not a bad movie.
It's not bad. Is that NASCAR? I think it is.
Yeah, I think
it is NASCAR.
It's kind of like because it's Tony Scott again. It's like Top Gun with cars almost. Think of it like that.
Yeah, it's like right. It's like that.
And,
it's a little it's not focused on like the racing. Like I think
a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And, Nicole Kidman's in it. I think that's how they met him and Tom.
Oh,
Cruise.
really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
All right, well, that's pretty rad.
And Robert Duvall. Yeah, it's a good cast. Yeah, like John C. Reilly. Yeah.
All right. I think that's good. What would you rate it? Like 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Enjoyed it more than Captain America. Different kind of movie, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why would you watch Captain America when you can watch Senna? It's a documentary. It's great. It's informative. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not too long either. I think it's not even as long as Captain America.
It's probably around the same, maybe like 10 minutes shorter.
Maybe a bit shorter.
Yeah, more
And yeah,
substantial.
it's just more of a journey, an emotional journey. Yeah, good stuff. All right, thanks, and check out Movie Candles. Again, go to Etsy, etsy.com/movie. I'll put the link in the description. I don't know the fucking URL.